My name is Mauricio Álvarez. I'm a senior lecturer in machine learning in the Department of Computer Science here at the university. To recently created center at the university. It's called the Center of AI Fundamentals. And basically what we do in the center is that we develop new mathematical models and algorithms related with machine learning and AI. And my specific focus is on something which is called transfer learning. So this is an area of machine learning where you are concerned with situations where you say have a data set for a very well-defined problem, and that data set is very well constructed. You have lots of samples, lots of observations, and then you have some sort of a similar kind of scenario for which you don't have that many data points. So what you want to do in this setting is to learn from that very well-behaved constructed scenario for which you have a lot of data points, and then try to see whether you can use what you learned there to transfer to that setting where you don't have that many data points. As I said before, I'm very excited about this because it's a truly sort of interdisciplinary PhD program at the university that is driven this all collaborations, is fostering all these collaborations. So at the moment we have projects in machine learning and physics, we have projects in machine learning, biology, we have projects in machine learning and engineering, robotics. So I'm really excited about this new CDT and all the opportunities that will trigger for our researchers in Manchester, and hopefully putting the University of Manchester as a big player in AI in the UK, and that together with what we're doing in the Center for the AI Fundamentals, we're starting to create all these initiatives on joint workshops with different sort of parts of the university. We already had one with sustainable futures, one workshop on AI and sustainability, and we're planning to do quite a few of those as the year progresses, to sort of put AI sort of in the map, more sort of open at the university. So I think I'm very excited about that, because I think AI can, it has a lot of good things and can help to accelerate a lot of the things that we do as researchers already. We have been working on an EPSRC grant with colleagues in Imperial, looking at using this kind of maths and algorithms for a problem in studying the efficacy of drugs. So the specific emphasis is on cancer drugs, and there are lots of drugs that are sort of produced, say, by pharmaceutical companies, and we kind of know in some sort of cell lines experiments they have done how particular cancers react to the concentrations of different drugs. But there are some other drugs that haven't been tested on other cancers. So or scenarios for which you can only do a few of those tests. So this is a perfect setting for this transfer learning approach, because you could learn from the data that you have. You know how the drugs have performed on these data sets of cancer efficacy, and then using that knowledge in the algorithm, try to predict with a bit of data of those new drugs how the tissues with cancer are going to react or going to perform. So it's trying to transfer knowledge from one setting to another setting. That's one of the things my research is about. And the other aspect is what we call in the field physics-informed machine learning. So there are a lot of scenarios where you can actually you could just try to learn from the data, right? So you have very generic models that learn from the data. But usually what happens with these models is that they require a lot of data so that they can extract some pattern from what's happening. So what I try to do in my research is actually in many different scenarios. You already know a bit about the physics. For example, in robotics, it's a mechanical system usually. So you have knowledge of the physics. And what we try to do is to include that knowledge of the physics into the machine learning, into the neural network, or into the kernel method, or whatever is the model that we are working on. And ideally, because you are including this prior knowledge, the algorithm will require fewer data points or much less data to learn than otherwise it would. Yeah. I think for me, one of the big challenges is that we don't understand quite yet what could be the implications in the medium and longer term. I guess implications in the close term, in the short term, are sort of starting to happen. Like we see, like a lot of automation can happen. But there are others more sort of broad societal or society implications that we don't know about, right? It's a lot of these models, we don't know what they're doing, how they work. A lot of them hallucinations, and I think that's a very, very, very big problem. That is a technology that you can't really rely 100% on. You will always need to, at the moment, need to check whether whatever you got actually makes sense or not. So I think for me, it's the general feeling that we don't understand quite yet where is this taking us, right? It's like there is a lot of uncertainty whether we can actually build a good economic prospect out of this or not. Maybe it will do for some very restricted domains, it might, but it's not the panacea that I think people are there are lots of different problems that I think will demand solutions that will go beyond whatever AI can do, right? Because it will imply humans getting together to actually understand each other, collaborate, understand each other's points of view. So I think for me, it's just a lack of understanding of what's happening is important. There are a lot of technical challenges, like, for example, the hallucination thing I was talking about is one of them. Also, the amount of compute and resources that these computers need, or these algorithms need to run a search or to run a simple query, as a major concern, because, well, we're just investing lots of money on this, but there are other sort of needs in society. So you wonder, is it worth, investing this amount of money and these resources on problems where we actually have very, very challenging problems still as society. So yeah, I would say, like, from a sort of very generic point of view, those are really important challenges. As a father of two boys, I think it's very that's very worrying. Like how we, as we society, deal with this sort of challenge, these changes that are occurring. Like big companies basically just using social media platforms without with little regulation, and how that's having an effect on new generations of kids and young people. And in terms of AI, I think from the point of view of just being like very human beings, I think is a tool that will help us to be more productive in our works. I think this is already happening, but as I said before, it's really difficult just to think AI is going to solve our problems as a society, right? It's just like another tool that will help us to be more efficient, more proactive, but there are a lot of different problems happening.